Hi, everyone. Welcome to our inaugural monthly marketing meeting, right, Devin? Is that what we're calling this? Because
That
that's what
is
we're going
what
to be
we're
doing.
calling this.
Yeah. So the reason we're doing this is because, um, we realize that Horse's Mouth has a lot of marketing content. The people in our advisor client program and our master membership, there's campaigns and strategies that are teed up every month, and they come to you in our monthly email newsletter. But we thought that it would be good to um, try putting this out there on a live stream, and so that people in the program can specifically use this as an opportunity to talk about what should be involved in their monthly marketing meeting. And also for people who aren't members of our advisor client program or our master membership program, we are talking about marketing strategies for advisors that are timely this time of the year. So you'll benefit as well. Sometimes we'll be talking about specific things in the program, which you can either translate in your own mind, or you can, in terms of how you would do it, or you could always have the opportunity to become a member of our advisor client program or our master membership program. So Devin, um, this is October, and it's already quickly flying by. But we're each month you put out the newsletter, and it's really kind of talks about the existing month, but also setting the table for the coming month. So, what are the key topics that we're going to cover today?
Right. So, in the newsletter, we like to, as Sean, you mentioned, we have so many campaigns and so many communication touches in the advisor client program itself that it can be difficult to go through and kind of pick out and pair out what you as the advisor want to share with your clients and prospects each month. So our goal of the newsletter is to give you two actions for each month where if you don't have time to do a huge marketing campaign, at least you can easily get these two communication touches out to your list, and it's pretty, easy to set up in your CRM ahead of time, and you don't have to worry about it. So at the bare minimum, you'll have two touches going out each month, and we try to lead up, the current month that you're getting the newsletter for, and the upcoming month, so you can kind of plan ahead and you aren't scrambling at the last minute. So for October, which we're now already in the middle of, it's hard to believe. Um, our first item is always the advisor client financial insight campaign. Now, if you're an AC member or master member, you're probably very familiar with this campaign. And if you're not a member, this is something you could potentially create on your own as well. But in the campaign, we take a article reprint that has a theme of each month, and we say, take this reprint, personalize it, and send it out to your list, whether that's via PDF, whether you send out a hard copy, that's up to you. So each month has a theme. We try to follow the calendar. October is National Cybersecurity Month, so that is the theme for this month's financial piece. So we picked out a article reprint that's FINRA reviewed. It's called How to Know If You've Been Hacked. I think Doug, yep, there it is. Doug has a little picture of it there. So you can see this is something that you can personalize with your own information. And then the actual reprint goes through and kind of guides clients and prospects on signs that they may be a victim of identity theft or account may have been hacked. So this is a great communication piece to say, hey, it's National Cybersecurity Month. I just wanted to share this information so you're on the lookout for these signs on your accounts.
Right. And I just wanted to say for people watching this, um, this is the first time we're doing this, and we see that Doug has just put up this article, but it is not high resolution. But we promise you, when you send us to your clients, um,
It
uh,
actually is. We're just not seeing it, Sean, because we're seeing a low res version of the stream, but to everyone else, they're seeing
it
a
is a high
quality
res.
version of it. Yeah.
Okay, we're the second class citizen on this broadcast, I guess. All right. Good. And the other point I wanted to make, and because Devin touched upon it, and that is that every single month there is a theme, and we have this mapped out, and it is rationalized relating to either things going on in your client's life, like certain things around tax year and so on and so forth, and or the calendar year, like things you need to get done by the end of the year, and then also, sometimes the themes connect to, like Devin was just saying, October is Cybersecurity Month, and cybersecurity is a big deal. So we always do cybersecurity in October. Um, but we could also do some other topics as well at certain times, which we'll talk more about. All right, Devin, good. So,
And
Yeah.
We have a second piece for October, and this is one is really important. So I do want to get it in. That is the fall key planning and investment deadline postcard. These are postcards that we have for each season of the year, and it just goes through and it lists key financial deadlines that your clients or prospects may need to be aware of, and any kind of special observances for the month too. This is just a great way to stay in touch, to provide really good content to your prospects and clients, dates that they need to know about. This might trigger something in their mind to say, hey, I need to give my advisor a call because I see, the FAFSA is now open and I have a lot of questions on that, or Medicare open enrollment is open in October. I need to talk about that. So this is a great way to kind of, trigger in the mind an idea for a meeting. It also can trigger referrals if they know somebody who, just turned 65 and needs to talk about Medicare. This might be a great way to just, remind them that these dates are upcoming and that you as the advisor are there to help them with it. And again, you can personalize it with all your info, and send it out in the mail, or even a PDF of it could be a really nice touch.
Yeah. And what I like about this is that uh, this is a in real life action that you're taking, educating your clients. And so you're delivering part of your value proposition by through your communications channel, and email or email newsletter, however you're delivering this to people. And you're educating them about, okay, here are the important things that are going on. So you're reminding them also that, right, Sean is the guy, whoever, the advisor, your name, it's like, yep, she's all over it. I appreciate it. She sends me this thing every quarter, reminds me of these important dates, and it just reinforces both your value proposition, but in the client's mind, the value of having you, the advisor, in their lives.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
all right. Um, and what else, Devin? So that's for October, right?
That's for October. And looking ahead to November, and I think it's really important to focus on, next month, especially now we're halfway through October. You should certainly take those actions, but let's get ahead for November and get prepared now. And we have a pretty big campaign that we really encourage people to use in November, and that's called our Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist. This is probably one of our most popular campaigns. And if you are listening right now, if you're tuning in and you're not an advisor client or a master member, you can actually still purchase this campaign separately, because we think it is so important for advisors to be sending out. Basically, you want to take this list, this little checklist. It's two-sided, but this is kind of the main gist of it. And you want to send it out to your clients and prospects at the end of the year, and ask them, just say, go over this checklist, read everything that's here, check off the things that you feel like you need to discuss with me as the advisor before year end. The whole idea here is to get that year end meeting, see if there's, if you're meeting with your clients, making sure you're taking care of them, and that if anything changed in the year, that you're addressing that in their financial plan. We all know that this has been a crazy year and there may have been pretty significant financial changes in people's lives. So having this meeting with your clients is super important, but sending it out to your prospects too, because maybe this is the year that they're saying, I had massive change. Maybe I retired earlier than I thought, and I really need to talk to an advisor now. And they can check off everything on the checklist and, schedule a meeting with you. They bring in the checklist and it makes for a really organized year-end meeting. It's a really important piece. We have advisors who use it every year. Their clients love it. They get prospects to come in with it. And I think it's a hugely important piece every year, but especially
Yes.
this year.
And the thing that advisors really love about it is that it often leads to new or more business or planning opportunities with their existing clients, because they get it, they check off, or they look at it, it prompts a couple things. Yeah, I got to call Sean. They call the advisor, come on in, let's have a meeting, or let's schedule a virtual meeting, and talk about the fact that yeah, your father died earlier in the year, and the older brother is the executor of the estate, and they're going to be wrapping it up either this year or maybe the beginning of the new year, and you're going to get some money, and it's going to mean this or that, all those kinds of things. When your clients go through this checklist, it just prompts, again, it's reinforcing your value, and it's prompting them to bring some additional news about what's happening in their life to you. And so advisors have over the years just love it for what it does for their existing client base and contributing to more assets, more financial planning opportunities in the final quarter of the year.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely. So we say try to get that out as soon as you can because you want to start having those meetings and not be rushing in December to get them all done. Because like Sean said, that you can have really great conversations that you never had before with clients, and a lot of advisors will say their clients then share the checklist with like friends and family. It can be a great referral piece too because they say, oh, so and so should really look at this, and it has your information on it as the advisor. And it can be a really great conversation starter for a new prospect too.
Right. Wendy Webb, who was the founder of Advisor Client, I used to refer to this sort of thing as bulletin board marketing, because when you send them these cards, it's on cardstock like this. It's a little bit bigger. It's 8.5 by 11, and it's the kind of thing that people put up on their bulletin board. They're there writing their checks each month. They're doing their household business, and it reminds them, yeah, hey, I need to schedule that meeting or make that phone call as well. So that's great. And so people are going to be following up on that because we roll this campaign out every year in September. Is that right, Devin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We
we've had it
updated and
live
goes live.
since September. It is the November financial insight piece,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know a lot of advisors have already sent it out, and I actually think October is kind of the key time to be sending it out at first, and then be following up in November because part
Yeah.
of the advisor client campaign that's built around the last chance checklist also comes with emails and phone scripts that you can use to then follow up once you send the piece out. So I always say, October is kind of the key time to be sending it out initially. And November is really the time to be following up with those who may not have responded or to be having meetings with clients and prospects who have
Yeah.
responded. So
Right.
if you haven't sent it out yet, you still have time to do so in October. And the campaign, like I said, kind of has everything that you need to really to send it out quickly and efficiently. It has emails that you can customize, even letters. I think this is a nice piece, as Sean said, to kind of send a hard copy of as well, because it's great to put up on the bulletin board or the fridge. In the campaign, we recommend sending it in the mail via snail mail, and then also following up with a PDF hard copy via email because people have their preferences, and it's just a way to hit them again with it. But yeah, so it is the November insight, but I think the sooner you can get this piece out, the better.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely really drives business in the fourth quarter. So that's good. Well, what else is happening in November? We get something about caregiving going on here.
Yes. So, as we talked about timely marketing for October with cybersecurity, November is Family Caregiver Month. And in Advisor Client and in the Horse's Mouth article reprint library, we have a great number of reprints written about starting the caregiving discussion, which is a really important topic that often gets overlooked. People find it to be a very difficult conversation to have with their parents or family members. So we have a kind of a list of reprints that you can choose from to send out to your base. Just for example, some of the titles are 15 resources for overwhelmed caregivers. We have a checklist to see if it's time for an assisted living situation, how to start the family caregiving discussion. I think that's a really important piece. And that makes sure that we can start having that difficult conversation and gives the client or prospect ideas how to start the conversation, but also positions you as a resource to help facilitate that conversation.
Right. And now, to speak to the topic of people, this is going to be a big topic going into 2021, because so many people have realized the importance of financial education this last year when the pandemic hit and you couldn't see clients face to face. Putting on webinars has become a big thing. We're going to be announcing a big program helping our master members develop a financial educator marketing strategy for 2021, which is going to include doing a webinar series throughout the year. You pick 2, 3, 4 topics and kind of cycle through them as the year goes on. So the Savvy Caregiving, Devin, is a presentation people could be getting. A master member could be giving it during this period of time. And it is a FINRA reviewed presentation that we created for people to be able to go out into their community and simply say, look, um, this is the reason I put this on is because I have seen some very tough situations unfold over the years where um, my clients have had situations come up with taking care of mom and dad, or my clients have been mom and dad, and the adult children need to become involved, and these things are really really sticky issues that are made much worse and more stickier when no one thinks or plans about them in advance. And so the savvy caregiving presentation that we have is designed very explicitly to put this information in front of clients and prospects and gives them an opportunity to get ahead of the curve in what almost always turn out to be very very difficult situations for family. And the reason we created the presentation is so that the advisor can help people remove some of the pain that families suffer from when they don't do any of this thinking, when they keep thinking mom and dad are full of piss and vinegar, and they're as sharp as a tack in their 70s, in their 80s, but then something starts to happen, somebody falls, or somebody roams out of the house, and suddenly the adult kids who have been thinking mom and dad are the same independent mom and dad they've been their entire life. Suddenly everybody realizes, oh, we got a problem here, and we want you to be ahead of that with your clients. Give them the chance to get ahead of it. Have the adult children think about these things, even collaborate, with mom and dad before it gets to that point. So it is something else that people could think about presenting this time of the year, right, Devin?
Yes, definitely. I think it's a great time to be talking about caregiving. We always say in advisor client, timely marketing is good marketing, and if you can build off of, conversations happening in the media about caregiving, because it is caregiving month, and there probably will be a lot of stories on it. You can use that to your advantage when you're marketing this event. The reprints that I was mentioning can all be, a drip follow-up campaign that you would send out, or even a way to promote your event to clients and prospects, to share with them some information and say, I'm putting on this webinar that will go much more in depth on this topic. Here's a small taste of it. So I think putting on a webinar about caregiving right now to clients and prospects, having that scheduled for November or the end of the year would be a great idea.
Right. And also, just to bring up once again, this program will be working with masters in the new year, where it's like a coaching program on being a financial educator. And so part of that will be thinking through, what are the topics I should be presenting on? Because we've mentioned October is cybersecurity month. You could be putting on the cybersecurity presentation that month as well. And in fact, maybe somebody does a 4 webinar series that they cycle through, or that they do in the final September to December timeframe, and they could be like IRA planning, cybersecurity, caregiving, and taxes, or Social Security, or whatever. And we'll talk more about that in the future. But all right, what else, Devin, do we need to be thinking about? Like what's next with advisor client? What's going to be coming down the road that we need to start to think about? I know there's one topic that I want to have a conversation about in a second when you're done, is what are we going to be thinking about relating to that annual client event that often is pegged to the holidays? So we'll come to that in a second, but what else
Yeah,
is up, Devin?
that's a great point. Just for everyone's calendar, if you're an advisor client or a master member, next week we have a really great webinar coming up. It's a new campaign that I'm working on right now. It's all about creating a social media plan. And so we've done some campaigns this year on digital marketing about Facebook and video. Now we're going to really be taking all of the social media platforms out there and talking about which ones should you be on, what should we be doing on each one of those, and how do we make sure that we get our team involved and that we have a plan, so we're not just randomly posting things or trying something out. How do we make sure we have a cohesive plan that works between the different networks and works to really build your business organically and from a paid social media stance too? So that's on October 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it should be a really exciting new campaign. I'm excited about it.
And you're rolling that out for the advisor client members and of course master members.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you have to be a member of the program to see that presentation. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Good. Good. And is that part of that's the organic reach on Facebook, or is that a separate topic?
Yeah, we definitely will be talking about organic reach on Facebook. That was kind of the main meat of our October advisor client newsletter. I wanted to give people kind of a taste of some of the things that we'll be talking about. And in the newsletter, I did talk about a few strategies that will be included in that campaign, because there's always this, notion that organic reach, and by organic, I mean just a post you would put on Facebook, not anything you would pay them to promote, not an ad or anything like that, just a regular old post where you might share your blog or a video you made. There's this notion that organic reach is dead and not worth your time. And while organic reach has diminished in the past few years, it's still hugely important to your overall social media marketing platform. Um, Social media's main use is really to make you, a thought leader in the field, and having good organic posts that can create engagement on your page is a way to show that thought leadership. It's a way to get new people to your page, get people engaging with your business, and also getting people to like and follow your page, because the more people that like and follow your page, the more opportunities that kind of unlock on Facebook. So there's certain things you can do with paid Facebook strategies once you reach a certain number of followers that you can't do until then. So there is an importance in focusing on organic reach too. Most of the things we see are just, Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads, but there is a reason why you need to be nurturing your organic strategy too.
Good. Good. All right. And does what is the role of video relating to that?
Video is the best organic post you can make right now. Facebook has been really into video for the last few years now. And if film, record a little video of yourself, it does not have to be anything professionally done. It can just be on your smartphone. You talking about maybe, 3 tricks to know about Social Security claiming. It can be very simple. And you post that on Facebook, you are going to get like 6 times the reach on that post than you would if you had just written, a blog post saying the same thing. Facebook's algorithm loves video. If it sees a video, it is going to throw that up to the top of people's news feeds. It's going to add a little bit extra of its oomph into making sure that people see that, because Facebook's whole goal is to get people on the platform and to get them to stay on the platform. So if someone's watching a video, that's, could be an extra 3 minutes that they're spending on the platform, as opposed to clicking off and going to a blog that's not part of Facebook. So they're really throwing all of their strength behind video right now. If you do a Facebook Live, something like we're doing right now, we're live streaming out, that's even better for the algorithm. Facebook will basically put you at the top of the news feed because they want people to engage. They want people to form a community on the app. They want people to be discussing things, commenting, and live video is one of the best ways to do that. So if you're getting into organic Facebook reach and trying to figure out how to improve that, video would be the number one thing I say, whether it's you pre-record it and you upload it that way. That's a great way to start, but eventually getting on live and just, talking about different financial topics can be a really great way to build your following on Facebook organically.
And if you can do it in Russian, that's even better.
Yes.
Just kidding. Anyway, great. So, should we talk about client events for a second, or is there something else we want to talk about
No, I think
relating
client
to?
events would be a great thing to talk about right now, because we're in October and I'm sure people are thinking about it, and it's going to be different this year for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and the holiday event is a kind of staple for the financial advisor. People have done all sorts of things over the years. Sometimes they have an open house in their home. People come in for, a drink, and it goes on for a few hours. People come, drop in, they leave, they have a drink and eat some snacks or whatever. Sometimes people put on a annual holiday Christmas event at their favorite restaurant, and that is Another thing that people have done successfully over the years, people do sometimes send gifts, which I think people have do that, would continue to do that for sure this year. I guess the question is, for somebody who's always had live a holiday event, what should they be thinking about um, in this, socially distant world that really, I think, the virus is rising in more than 36 states right now, so it's not going away. It didn't disappear. So, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, it's an important part of, the financial advisor's calendar of events. I think the holiday party has always been really important. And I think while it will probably look different this year, I think there are some interesting options out there. I know I have seen a couple of companies that will do like virtual wine and cheese pairings where you can actually like order it for your clients and have it delivered to them. And then maybe you all hop on Zoom and they can have an expert kind of walk you through the tasting. Something like
Love that.
that, I think, could be really interesting in a different way. You may not want like 300 people on that Zoom. Maybe it's only your A clients. So you can, have that conversation because I think one of the things we run into with virtual events and Zoom, happy hours and meetings is sometimes it can be hard to have a conversation like you would at a party because you can't just like go off in the corner and talk to a few people. And I think adding too many people into the Zoom meeting can make it difficult for those natural conversations to happen. So I think I would maybe keep it to my A clients or maybe do different groups of these
Could
events.
do
But
different
that's
groups.
one
Yeah.
that I've seen that I think could really work instead of, having a cocktail party, you have your own little
Yeah.
cocktail party and do it together
Right.
on Zoom.
Right. And, of course, it doesn't have to necessarily be wine. But by the way, I participated in one back in, I think, early June. And, the advisor hooked up with with an outfit in a winery, and they sent the wine to the clients. And it was really great, I have to say. And, you're tasting two different bottles. You're not drinking the whole bottle, but you're tasting two different bottles in the course of this thing that I think went on for about 90 minutes. It was scheduled to be, basically an hour. But by the time the person at the vineyard finished her presentation, which was discussions about the wine, but then also discussions about the history of the vineyard and the grapes involved and everything. So everybody had a glass or so of wine by the time the presentation was finished, and they were more relaxed. And people really did just sit there and take the opportunity to thank the advisor and also ask some questions or share their own insights. And it really was very natural, and it really was a surprisingly good time. So I think we may be looking to do to point some advisors in that direction between now and the end of the year. It's something I would highly recommend. But people also do it, with beer. You could
Mhm.
hook up with your local brewery and have a beer tasting. And of course, it doesn't always necessarily have to be alcohol related. And I know there are other things too, like sponsoring a cooking class, virtual cooking class, or a virtual baking class. That's very festive and holiday oriented as well. Um, and I know sometimes advisors use that time of the year to engage their clients around a public service thing where they raise money for one or more charities. The food banks all across America are absolutely being maxed out right now, and so I think some advisors may be thinking about, how can he or she and the firm, along with engaging their clients, do a little something nice um, for a local organization that plays a big role in supporting the community during, what is obviously a very difficult time that we're in. So something to think about as well. What else, Devin? Does that bring us to the end?
I think that's it. But yeah, the food bank thing is very true. I have family that volunteers in the food bank, and they have been saying this year has been, more, they're running out of food more often than not. So I think that's a great idea to do a charity, some sort of charity event for the holidays and focus on
Yeah,
that. I think that's a great
right,
point.
right. Yep, good. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our inaugural monthly marketing meeting. Please send us any comments or questions that you have. We're going to be working with this format a little more as we go forward in time, with the idea that you and your team could plug into this live presentation. We could talk about, what's on the plate coming out of advisor client and or other financial education strategies, and kind of set the table for you to then turn around and talk with your assistant or your marketing person or your whole team and say, okay, which one of these things are we going to do, or how are we going to do it slightly differently, or are we like, yes, we want to jump on this, whatever the case may be. So Devin, what would be the best email for people to respond to for that?
Right. So you can go ahead and comment on whatever live stream you're watching this, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, but you can also send us an email at advisorclient@horsesmouth.com, and we can answer you that way. If you're an advisor client or a master member, there's also the question and answer forum on the advisor client website, which you can use as well.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for being here on our inaugural monthly marketing meeting live stream. And we hope you enjoyed it. And send us your questions, and we'll see you again next month.